What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. You all know that I absolutely love my Rogue. Rogue is my favorite character in the game. Pretty much Rogue is going to be the main I'm going to focus on Season 1. But some time ago, I was like, let me try out the Necromancer. And after I played the Necro, I had a blast. So I decided to gear the Necro up and get the Lilith Kill on this character. Now, there's a few things that I did differently. For example, I never used the aspect on the ring, the essence aspect, which a lot of people think that is mandatory in order to be able to kill Lilith. And that's precisely what I want to take a look at in this video, break down the fight and show you guys the correct rotations you need to do in order to not run out of essence and kill Lilith without that specific aspect. Because first of all, it has a very low drop chance. And guys, if you can learn the rotations and deal way more damage with another aspect, why not do it? So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly take a look at the gear that I'm using, and then I'm going to break down the fight itself and explain to you guys all the rotations, positioning, and everything like that. Huge shout out, by the way, to Durathil. I'm going to drop his channel in the description. He found some time to talk with me on Discord, give me a few tips such as positioning. The Paragon board that I'm using actually is pretty much the same as his. I made a few adjustments when it comes to survivability, so I went for a little bit more HP, but in general, they are very similar. So I'll start with the gear. This is my first ring. As you guys can see, I'm not using the essence aspect. Instead, we're using this one right here. Attacking enemies with a basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill cast by 10% up to 30%. And the reason why this is so good for this overall setup is very simple. It's tied to the rotation that I'm using in order to not run out of essence. And that is 2 and 2, which means you're going to be using 2 core skills and then 2 basic skills. Now let's take a look at the second ring. I'm going to pause this. You guys see that we're using the ossified essence on the ring, and then we have critical strike chance, critical strike damage with bone skills, critical strike damage, and vulnerable damage. So pretty much on both of the rings, we are going out full on damage as much as possible. And there's nothing else that is crazy here. We're not using max essence or anything like that. Right here, we have 20% essence cost reduction. This is very important on your amulet. And then we have Ranks of the Death's Reach passive. This is not like a god roll amulet or anything like that, but it has movement speed and essence cost reduction. And that's all I need in my humble opinion. And then we have the Grasping Veins on the amulet. Once again, not a perfect roll, but it's more than enough, as you guys can see. We're going to start with the helmet, which is obviously going to be the unique. If you have this one, I got really lucky because mine rolled with 26 maximum essence out of 27. As long as you can get like really high essence, you're good to go. Then on the chest piece, it's all about survivability. Now, as you guys can see, I have a horrible roll when it comes to the barrier, but you know, it adds a little bit more survivability, I guess. But you can get like way higher barrier rolls with this aspect, like 8,000 and above, which is crazy. And this is one of the most important pieces, okay? The gloves. Once again, this is not a perfect roll. We have up to a 26% chance to slow, which isn't the perfect case scenario. But as long as you have rank of Bone Spear, critical strike chance, and this one right here, the lucky hit, up to a 5% chance to restore 18.8% primary resource, that's what you're looking for. From my experience, as long as you have 3 out of 4, as you see on these gloves right here, you're good to go. Can it be better? Definitely. But is it needed? Not really. As for the aspects, another one that is not perfect, I only deal 7.5% instead of 10% increased damage for each second you stand still, up to 30%. If you have a 10% one, that will up your DPS by a lot, and it really helps. You pretty much get an extra 7.5% damage when you're fully stacking all the buffs here. On the pants, literally all about survivability. We also have an extra all stats here, but that's because of the Paragon board and the way I'm using it. And obviously we're using the disobedience on the pants, which is one of the most important aspects for survivability, so make sure to use that one. Now let's quickly talk about the boots. We have essence cost reduction, the main thing that you want to focus on, in combination with movement speed. These two things will really help you in this fight because you need that speed to move around. And obviously essence cost reduction is something that you're looking for no matter what, because in combination with my amulet, we almost have 30% essence cost reduction, and that makes a huge difference. As for the aspect, there is one aspect on the boots where you deal critical damage, you start moving faster, and that can also help with avoiding a lot of the attacks. And finally, the weapon, it's nothing crazy. We have almost max intelligence, but as you guys can see, I'm losing out on 9% vulnerable damage. Core skill damage isn't really that high either, and critical strike strike damage is actually pretty low, but the aspect itself is maxed out, so that helps, I guess. If you can get a better weapon like that is really high on rolls, you will be killing this boss much easier, guys. Here's all the stats that you want to see, like my overall damage, such as critical strike damage. Everything is right here. You guys can pause this and take a closer look if you're interested. Take a look at the max essence. 187 essence without the potion. Here's a quick look at the Book of the Dead, so you guys understand what we're running here. And now let's take a look at the abilities. You guys can pause this whenever you want and take a closer look so you can copy everything, but there's nothing crazy, right? As you guys can see, we're running Bone Spear, rank 9, imperfectly balanced. We also have Unliving Energy, Hewed Flesh, only 1 in Corpse Explosions. Both of these are maxed out. Death's Embrace, Death's Reach, Corpse Tendrils, 4 out of 5. If you can get boots that have +4 Corpse Tendrils on it, you can have it way higher. That's going to be up to you. It's not a necessity. We maxed out Serration, Compound Fracture, and Evulsion. Maxed out Inspiring Leader, Standalone, Memento Mori. We're using Bone Storm fully upgraded. Finally, Ossified Essence to get a lot more damage depending on how much essence we have. Here's the Paragon board. We're going to take a quick look at this. Once again, shout out to Durithil. This is pretty much the same as his Paragon board. The only difference you will see here is that I'm using these 2 notes, which is there for more survivability. So for the first one, we're going to be using the Sacrificial Glyph. All the rest you can pretty much copy here. In the second one, we're going to be using the Essence. This is one of the best glyphs for the Necromancer, so make sure to use it on this board right here. On the third one, we're going to be using the Imbiber, 106.9% damage while healthy. A lot of people underestimate how important it is to keep your HP as high as possible when you're fighting Lilith, so don't be afraid to pop those potions as much as you need to in order to keep your HP very, very high. On the fourth one, we have the Gravekeeper. This gives us more damage to elites, so this also helps a lot. And we're also using the Flesh Eater. Consuming 5 corpses grants 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. Very, very important. And finally, we're going to be using the Exploit on this board right here. Now let's break down the fight. Right at the beginning, we're going to use 2 basic hits and then 2 Bone Spear and then 2 basic again. The reason that we're doing that is because of the aspect that we have on the ring. When we deal basic damage, after that, the core skill damage does more damage. And that actually perfectly ties in with the rotation you want to be doing, which is 2 and 2, in order to keep your essence up. So once again, you want to do 2 Bone Spear attacks followed with 2 basic attacks and keep that rotation. Yes, sometimes you will mess it up. You'll do 3 Bone Spears and maybe 1 basic. It's not a huge deal, but in the perfect world, you want to do 2 and 2. We're going to keep doing this all the way. As soon as we see the volatile blood, we destroy it. You can also use it to charge your essence with your basic attacks. That's very, very important. Then as soon as you get a few free seconds, you want to start using the corpses. Make sure to use 4 of the corpses. Now you're just focusing on Lilith once again. Throw a few Bone Spears in there and she flies away. As she flies away, right at that moment, you pop the 5th and you get ready to DPS. You guys can see that this placement of this corpse is not perfect for the tendrils, but I do think she still gets hit with the tendril. So let's take a look at that. We go full damage here and absolutely melt her. As you guys can see, as soon as the adds land, I'm focused on them and hitting them with the basic attack to charge up my essence once again. Now, as soon as she's trying to fly down, that's when you want to go immune. Let's take a look at that, and you become invincible pretty much. She lands. We come out of the animation and start DPSing her once again because we need to burn off this final little chunk of HP. We do that. Look at our essence, right? It's slightly above half. We just survive a few attacks here. And then right here, we're going to be using the blood once again to charge some of our essence. Now we pop 4 of the corpses and boom, we're back at full essence. We perfectly time this. Wait for her. Pop the Bone Storm, the final corpse, tendrils, and we go full out on DPS. Also here, you don't have to like burn her down right away. As you guys can see, she's almost at half. And after this is very simple. You just go up here, DPS as much as you can. Move back to this side. Pop the corpses again whenever you get a chance to get that extra damage. Follow her around, right? That's the key in the second phase, which is, by the way, so much easier than the first phase. And then just take your time. It's really all about the first phase. If you manage to understand the rotation and burn her down in the first phase, the second phase is pretty much a joke. You don't really have to do much here. As long as you're dealing decent damage, this is very easy to get the kill. Boom. And she's dead. Just like that. So once again, the main thing you want to focus on, guys, just master those rotations. As long as you can do that, you are not going to need this aspect right here. You just don't. And that's it. And having this aspect gives you the ability to deal more damage. Let's say you're slightly under geared or anything, that extra damage always comes in clutch. Anyway, that is it for the video. As always, ladies and gents, never forget to share that positive energy all around. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I mean, we literally have the best community of all time. Oh! Oh, he got no scoped!